Markiplier is out in the streets clearing roads with a chainsaw for his neighbors while Hasan stuffs his face. Mark starts a fundraiser so companies can't steal people's burnt down properties for pennies on the dollar. Hasan just lazy, lackadaisical ass. Let's watch Markiplier talk about his own experiences evacuating from the LA fires.
At 4 a.m. on Wednesday morning last week,
Didn't the firefighter basically just say they ran out of water? Elon Musk asked the commonly held gripe that Republicans have escalated and elevated over and over again about how the reservoir simply did not have water. There was tremendous water mismanagement. He addressed it and said, no, there was plenty of water. And the only reason why anyone ever ran out of water is because there is no way to use fire hydrants and engines to combat a wildfire like this. Like, the system is not capable of handling this level of this much fire, which is understandable. This is something that virtually every single professional said initially. Markiplier is out in the streets clearing roads with a chainsaw for his neighbors while Hasan stuffs his face. Mark starts a fundraiser so companies can't steal people's burnt down properties for pennies on the dollar. Hasan just lazy, lackadaisical ass. Even the way he talks, like he's sleepwalking, lazy intonation comes from having a very easy, laid-back life of no strife. This is bait. Yeah, I think this person is not mentally well. We got a Mark shooter. Well, I just don't understand. Like, why would there be any antagonism between me and Markiplier, a random content creator? And also, I have done, I have been out there. Maybe you weren't paying attention. Sorry that I haven't been out there rebuilding houses brick by brick or something. But very strange. He doesn't like my style of commentary. Well, you haven't chainsawed. This is true. I have not chainsawed. You got me there.
I got a message on my phone along with a bunch of blaring alarms saying that we needed to evacuate, which was a very novel experience. If you don't know why, and you haven't been looking at the news at all, there's been a lot of fires in LA because of a windstorm that occurred last Tuesday. So on Tuesday, we had, battened down the hatches, tried to clean up, bring stuff in from outside, prepare for the windstorm because the windstorm was unprecedented. It was going to be intense and there was a danger of fire during this wind event. And it just so happens that the Palisades caught on fire, and then another fire on the opposite side of town, closer to where I am, called the Eaton Fire, broke out after that. And so that fire quickly got out of control. I could actually see it, which was a very weird experience. Out my window, I could see the fire. But yeah, that's what it was. And the night before, when we saw the fire, we were of the mind that we needed to be prepared to go, which is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Whenever you have a fire in the area, you have your go bags ready. You have the most important belongings in there, so you can just grab the bag and you can chuck it in your car and you can get out. Because if a fire is coming, especially with winds of this intensity, you need to get out immediately. And so we were prepared to do that. And we were listening to the news. Big shout out to Watch Duty, the app. I only found out about it last week, but that was instrumental in getting information about where to go and where the fire was and what was happening on a minute-to-minute basis. But yeah, so we had to evacuate, and that was last week. And so we only got back. They lifted the evacuation order only a few days ago. So we got back in just a couple days ago. And the fire didn't do any damage to my place, but the windstorm still had damage left over that wasn't able to be cleaned because everyone had to evacuate. So I actually spent most of the past couple days with my chainsaw, and I was going up and down the street just cutting down trees and trying to get them out of the road because I didn't imagine that there was going to be a lot of access to cleanup crews, or they were already going to be stressed. And the cleanup in the places that actually have been affected by the fires hasn't even begun yet because there's another windstorm that they're showing is going to happen later on Tuesday evening. I think it was a early morning Wednesday or late Tuesday, depending on like when it lands. And that's going to go until Wednesday evening, I think. And it's not going to be as strong as a previous wind event, but it's going to be pretty intense, which is, having back-to-back storms like this. I think they said there's only been 5 warnings of this level in this area ever. And so the 4th and 5th were within a week of each other. And so that's concerning for many other reasons. There is definitely a risk of more fires after this windstorm coming up in a couple days, and they could erase a lot of the progress that is being made on containing the fires that are in LA right now. So this is not a situation that's over just yet. There's still a lot to do to clean up. And one of the most important things is after the fires have been taken care of and put out, there's going to be months and months and months of recovery efforts and rebuilding efforts. And there's going to be a lot of shitty people trying to take advantage of the people who have been displaced or their houses have burned down. Because a lot of people, when they think of LA, they just think like, oh, that's where all the celebrities are. That's where all the rich people in the Palisades, they had their houses burned down. But it's, LA is an extremely large and diverse city with a ton of history and a ton of places in it that all fall under the umbrella of, what's being affected by these fires. Altadena specifically is a very old neighborhood with a lot of really deep history that I can't even touch the surface of in this little informational blurb that I'm making here. But I can only imagine what's going to happen afterwards. There's about 5,000 homes. They haven't been able to confirm yet, but there's estimated 5,000 homes that are completely gone, unrecoverable. Like the only thing left standing is a chimney. I'm sure you've seen some pictures, but seeing it firsthand is completely different. I mean, it's just heartbreaking.
Yes, supporting child labor. The children yearn for the fires. Hasan likes when the incarcerated children do the work law. All those muscles, but no muscling. I mean, wasn't he on Fox supporting unpaid incarcerated child labor and hazardous working conditions? Chainsaws are pretty easy to operate, dude. Go get your hands dirty, law. Dude, you are so mentally disabled. There is nothing I can tell you. You think I can do a hotshot job? Like, you think I can, without any training whatsoever, go into a wildfire, not just clear out debris like Mark did here for his neighbors' homes and the roads around his house, but like that random individual should take matters in their own hands? Are you fucking that stupid? What are you saying, dude? Please, wake the fuck up, dumbass. Please, no one try to take matters in their own hands like this fucking dipshit. Okay? You will only end up being a burden to the emergency services. How many times do I have to describe this? God damn, dude. Dude literally said, why don't you go dive into the wildfire without any training whatsoever and clear out the debris and create lines while simultaneously missing the point about the rehabilitation and reintegration programs that are very successful in the state of California, one of the worst carceral states in the country. I forget that there are just morons everywhere online and they have moronic opinions. Holy fuck, his first post today. Hey, dude, I just wanted to say that as someone who worked advocating for incarcerated and institutionalized youth rights, I have a pretty big problem with the whole incarcerated youth firefighters, no hazard pay, manipulation, forced labor. I don't know, dude, they're kids. Yeah, that person is so brain broken that they think that I'm talking about like literally children. You do realize that you do realize, chatter, that I just banned. They're not actually like children right now. They are youth offenders, specifically violent youth offenders that have been added into the pilot program. That doesn't mean that they're still in their youth. Every single person I interviewed was, around the age of 25. Yeah. Also, simultaneously acting like I'm on board with them not getting hazard pay is so insane. It's so far removed from the truth of the matter. My advocacy specifically revolves around some of the good aspects of this program, while also simultaneously highlighting some of the immediate necessities of improvement. There is no possible avenue of normal discourse with people who operate like this. I don't know what to say. Like, this is a dude who is just, I'm shocked, is still alive. Like, how did you survive this long? I guess modern medicine is just keeping your ass alive as you desperately try to kill yourself through, the normal day-to-day processes that a baby could get through. Opening a door could be a lethal event for a chatter with that kind of brain process.
You hear stories of people that have been in their homes for, or had their homes in their family for like 100 years. And it was, passed down, or there's deep history in it, or they've been building a business for 20, 40 years, and it's just gone. The other thing that brings a tear to the eye is the amount of goodwill that's been pouring out of the community. The amount of people that have donated to relief shelters, the amount of animal shelters and people that are fostering pets right now, and the people that are willing to lend a hand. It truly is heartwarming in a way that I very rarely see in a community come together. Not only are people like all across the country trying to contribute, but even here, donation centers have to turn away people from donating things because they are overflowing with materials and supplies for the people affected by the fires. They are literally stuffed to the brim. And, Amy and I, we went down to donate what we had, and we tried to figure out which ones they needed. But as we got there was a line wrapped around the block of cars just trying to get in there and drop things off. They had an army of volunteers at the donation center that we were at. Even we thought it was a small one. This is like small comparable to like the Rose Bowl, where there was basically an army camp set up just to help people. Like, it was beautiful. And so we donated what we could. And, it's just like they couldn't take everything that we had just because they had so many, or they were prioritizing different things. So that is good. That is really good. I know there's a lot of you out there that probably want to help. And one of the things that I have put in the description is a Tiltify campaign that was set up for LA wildfire relief. Let me just review which ones that they are fundraising for. So this is supporting the LA Fire Department, the California Fire Foundation, the World Central Kitchen, Baby to Baby, and CORE, which stands for Community Organization Relief Effort. And so this fund is going to all those organizations which provide direct help to people on the ground for this. But the most important thing for me is that after there's going to be a lull in attention, that's why I want to make sure that it's prioritized realized that the rebuilding effort in these areas that have burned down, especially in Altadena, are done in a way that is not predatory to the people that had those houses or had that land, right? And you can only imagine that some conglomerate or some company is going to swoop in, try to offer these properties that are no longer existing for pennies on the dollar, so they can scoop it up and try to build.
Respect to Mark for being, aware of some of these inadequacies in the system and openly talking about them.
Build to exploit the area, and that's exactly what I don't want to happen. So I'm going to find ways to get involved personally. I don't have any resources to tell you guys how to get involved in that, but that's just something that I want to do because, it's very easy to forget, once the urgency and the emergency is over, it's very hard to sustain the effort of building. The more motivating thing for me is to kind of put some purpose into it, some purpose into helping the people in the long term, which is the harder thing to do. It is the harder thing to help over a long period of time because other things will happen across the country and the world that'll need attention. But right now I'm here. I was right next to it. I was lucky enough that, my house is okay. Who knows, in a week, the winds might pick up. I might not be so lucky. But right now, I see what's happening and I can see what might happen in the future and I can see the need that's there. So I'm going to do something about it. As soon as I figure out the best way that I can help, even if it's just getting out of the way, or even if it's just advocating, or even if it's just, picking up a hammer, trying to help rebuild, I'll do whatever I can. So anyway, there's more of an update to tell you where I am because I don't think anybody actually knew that I had to evacuate. It was so fast and so early in the morning that, there wasn't any time to prepare or plan, and whatever we planned for and prepared for happened. I have a lot more stories to tell about this because it was quite a journey of watching all this unfold and seeing the new fires crop up and wondering if they were going to spread or be contained, and then seeing the heroic efforts of all the firefighters and all the people coming together. It was crazy this past week, but it's more than I can tell in an update video. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you everybody so much for caring about me, asking about me. I'm fine. Cheek and Henry and Amy are fine.
What is the point of him even making this video? Is he just bragging about how much he donated to charity and how good of a person he is? That's what your takeaway was? Millionaire brags about helping people with this expensive equipment. You have access to lots of water because of the pool in your backyard in your mansion, though. Why not use some of it to put out fires? Surely it could help a little. Thanks, man. Thank you for your wonderful contributions of doing perhaps the lowest effort bait I've ever read in my entire life.
We're all good and we were lucky. But the important thing to remember is that some people weren't. So there's a link in the description to the fundraiser, and then I will look into ways that I can help. Pretty much the only way that I've been able to right now is just driving around with a chainsaw and helping to clean up some of the mess that was left behind. So I know that sounds menacing, driving around with a chainsaw, but later on I'll tell you about how the police stopped by and asked me what I was doing. Nothing came out of it. I wasn't arrested or anything, but I realized how weird it was. Anyway, I'll tell that story later. That doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm gonna get to work. There's still a ton of cleanup to do. I don't think I'll be able to get back to regular videos anytime soon because I got to see how this windstorm is gonna play out. And that'll change things if it causes any more problems or starts any new fires. That's gonna, we just got to see how that goes.
Yeah, Markiplier is a really nice dude. Good guy.
Sir.